Welcome to Timberridge Church Online. I'm Pastor Johanna. I'm so glad that you're joining us today for Easter. It's Easter. We all need hope, and today is a message of that hope. Jesus is risen, and we don't have to remain hopeless. So I'm so glad that you're here. I hope that you let us know by jumping in the comment section or go to timberidgechurch.com/connect. Fill out that online connection card. Let us know how we can be praying for you, because we're glad that you are joining us, even if it's online. You know, there's a couple of things that are coming up that we want to make sure that you know about. We're going to be having our Discover Timberridge class, which is all about how to get connected, learning the mission and vision of Timberridge, and becoming a part of Timberridge Church. You can find all the information at timberidgechurch.com/discover, as well as register for the class. And parents, we have something just for you. We're going to be doing a little bit of a parenting conference. We'd love to have you here. It's going to be $10 for every adult, which includes your dinner. And then your first child is free for registration, $5 after that for every child that you have, because childcare will also be provided. But it's just going to be some practical tips on parenting, like how to parent in the world that we're living in. We're going to hear from Pastor Nick and I, as well as some of our other staff members that will just impart some wisdom and encouragement in this parenting journey. We hope that you'll join us on that weekend on May 1st for our parenting conference. We're so glad that you're with us today, because this weekend is so exciting. And yesterday we had the mega hunt with 50,000 Easter eggs, and thousands of people came. We want to let you know that if you contribute here at Timberridge Church, your generosity matters. We were able to impact all of those people with some fun, but also point them to the person of hope, to Jesus. There will be people that heard the Easter message today because they came to an Easter egg hunt and bounced on the bounce houses, and their kids got a couple hundred eggs, but they came to church to hear a message of hope, maybe for the first time ever. When you give here at Timberridge, you're impacting lives in that way. We can't do it without you. We can't do it without your generosity. Today you can see a variety of ways to give, from Venmo or to giving online. But when you give, it matters. And we want to say thank you, because we can't do it without you. All right, let's jump into the Easter message with Pastor Nick.
Hey, welcome to Timberridge Church Online. My name is Nick, and my wife and I are the lead pastors here at Timberridge. This week, I was thinking about some of the sayings that we hear over and over again in life. They become like mantras or life lessons for us, things that we say all the time, like, I'm killing two birds with one stone. Or, man, that was a blessing in disguise. Or maybe this one, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. You know those sayings. They're phrases we use that we just know the meaning of because everybody uses them. Here's one that I thought really applies today since it's Easter. It's what's on the inside that counts. What in the world does that saying have to do with Easter? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because Easter is a celebration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. That means that after he was crucified, murdered on the cross, he rose from the dead, defeating death and sin, and is the true living God. Let's check out how one of his disciples, Matthew, tells the story of what happened in the Bible. In Matthew 27, verse 57 through 66, and then into Matthew 28, we read these words. As evening approached, Joseph, a rich man from Arimathea, who had become a follower of Jesus, went to Pilate and asked for Jesus' body. And Pilate issued an order to release it to him. Joseph took the body and wrapped it in a long sheet of clean linen cloth. He placed it in his own new tomb, which had been carved out of the rock. Then he rolled a great stone across the entrance and left. Both Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were sitting across from the tomb and watching. The next day, on the Sabbath, the leading priests and Pharisees went to see Pilate. They told him, "Sir, we remember that what that deceiver once said while he was still alive. After 3 days, I'll rise from the dead. So we request that you seal the tomb until the third day. This will prevent his disciples from coming and stealing his body and then telling everyone he was raised from the dead. If that happens, we'll be worse off than we were at first." Pilate replied, "Take guards and secure it the best you can." So they sealed the tomb and posted guards to protect it. Early on Sunday morning, as the new day was dawning, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went out to visit the tomb. Suddenly there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord came down from heaven, rolled aside the stone, and sat on it. His face shone like lightning, and his clothing was as white as snow. The guards shook with fear when they saw him, and they fell into a dead faint. Then the angel spoke to the women. "Don't be afraid," he said. "I know you're looking for Jesus who was crucified. He isn't here. He's risen from the dead, just as he said would happen. Come, see where his body was lying. And now go quickly and tell his disciples that he's risen from the dead and he's going ahead of you to Galilee. You'll see him there. Remember what I've told you. It's what's on the inside that counts. Matthew shows us this truth in the gospel with his recollection of the resurrection. He's quick to point out that Jesus was dead on the cross. His body was taken away, wrapped in burial cloth, placed in the tomb, sealed with an enormous rock, guards outside. But then on Sunday morning, when the ladies get to the tomb, here's the statement the angel makes. He is not here. He is risen, just like he said he would. There's nobody in here. Literally, there is no body in the tomb. Jesus has risen from the dead, and there's no one in this tomb. It's what's on the inside that counts. So what does that mean for you and me some 2,000 years later? Well, what was true on that day is still true on this day. It's what's on the inside that counts. Here's the truth for today. Because the grave is empty, my life can be full. I love this account of the resurrection by Matthew. And check out the details he shares with us. In Matthew 26, verse 60 and 61, he says he placed Jesus' body in his own new tomb, which had been carved out of the rock. Then he rolled a great stone across the entrance and left. Both Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were sitting across from the tomb and watching. Don't miss that. The women were watching the burial of Jesus. They were there to honor Jesus as their teacher, their master, their rabbi, their Lord. He had been brutally murdered on the cross, his body beaten and broken and killed. And they watched his body laid in the tomb. They saw the stone rolled over the tomb to seal it. They witnessed Jesus being buried. And with that, deep in their hearts, they felt that hope was buried too. That peace was buried too. That joy was buried too. So on Sunday morning, they come to honor the body of their Lord and their Master, and they know what's inside the tomb. They know that Jesus' dead body is inside that tomb. They know that death is inside that tomb. The death of joy and peace and life and hope. Everything that they had hoped in is dead and buried inside that tomb. So they know what to expect when they get to the tomb, because they know what's in the tomb, and it's what's on the inside that counts. But check out what they find. In Matthew 27, 5 and 6, it says, the angel spoke to the women. Don't be afraid, he said. I know you're looking for Jesus. I know you think Jesus is in this tomb. I know you're looking for Jesus who was crucified. He isn't here. He's risen from the dead, just as he said would happen. And then the angel says this. He says, come see where his body was lying. I love what the angel says. The ladies come expecting to find death inside the tomb, but Jesus is the God of life, and he has the power of the resurrection. He's been resurrected through the power of God. And so the angel says, you came here looking for the wrong thing. You're in this burial ground looking for Jesus. You're looking for something that's dead. And if you're in a burial ground, you're not going to find Jesus, because Jesus is living, and living people don't need a tomb. He isn't here. He's alive. And then I love what the angel says to the women. He says, come see for yourself where his body used to be. There's no body in this tomb, and it's what's on the inside that counts. It's like the angel knew what the women had seen just a couple days before. They had witnessed the body be placed inside the tomb, and with it their hope was buried too. So he says, you need to come see this for yourself. Your hope isn't dead. It's alive. Your master isn't dead. He's alive. Your God isn't dead. He's alive. The grave is empty. The body is gone. There's no one in this tomb, and it's what's on the inside that counts. And that wasn't just good news for the women at the tomb. That wasn't just good news for the disciples. That's good news for all people throughout all of human history. The grave is empty, so our lives can be full. And that's good news. Because we try to fill our lives with so many things that don't lead to life, don't we? We constantly try to fill our lives with the things of this world, thinking they'll bring us hope and happiness, thinking they'll bring us contentment and joy, thinking they'll bring us satisfaction and peace. So we fill our lives with all the things the world has to offer, only to be let down and to feel empty again. Why? Because it's what's on the inside that counts. So when we fill our lives with the wrong things, we'll end up with emptiness and hopelessness, not life. Here's what we think. Well, my life is out of control and it's a mess right now and things seem to be a wreck. So if I could just find the right person and have the right relationship and fill my life with that, then everything would be good. My life wouldn't be so empty and I'd have hope. The only problem with that is that we take our mess of a life and we invite someone else into it and they bring their mess of a life. And if my math is correct, a mess times a mess does not equal hope or contentment. Or we think, well, if I just got that job, then life would be great, because if I got that job, I'd feel like I had purpose and meaning. And then we get the job, and the job's hard, and our coworkers are jerks, or it's not what we thought it would be. And because we've tried to fill the void in our lives with a job, once we get discontent in the job, we're discontent in life. Or maybe we think, well, if I just had kids, then I'd have so much joy in my life. And then we have kids, and well, kids. I mean, those of us who are parents know there's times when parenting gets hard and difficult and we don't know what to do. If we're finding our joy in our life and our kids, then when parenting gets hard, we feel like our life is out of control. Or sometimes we turn to all the pleasure that the world offers, all the fun that the world claims to give us, and we live it up. We go all out. We have this deep void in our hearts and lives. We can sense it when we're alone, when we're quiet, when we listen. We know it's there, so we never stop. We go after everything the world offers. We think more money will fill the void, and it does until it doesn't. And we think a bigger house or a newer car will fill the void, and it does until it doesn't. We think partying or more friends or more stuff or more vacations or more whatever will fill this void inside of us, and it offers temporary relief. But deep down we know that we're just using the things of the world to medicate a condition that the stuff of this world cannot heal. Because it's what's on the inside that counts. Faith and Dave Cho are some of our friends and church planters who we support as a church. We helped them plant Mosaic Church in Paramus, New Jersey. Back in February, we were at their grand opening service, and we heard Faith tell the story of getting her very first car. And if I remember it right, she was about to go off to college. Her parents decided to surprise her with a car. They went all out and got her a brand new, right off the lot car. Faith was super excited about it. She drove it all over that weekend, showing it off to her friends and stuff. And then eventually she needed to get gas. So since this was her first car, really her first time driving on her own, she pulled up to the pump. She filled it up. She took off back down the turnpike. And as the car was driving like a brand new car should, and then it started acting funny. And then the engine started skipping some, and it started messing up. And eventually she had to pull off the road because the car was literally dying. Why? Because when you fill a gas engine with diesel, it doesn't matter what condition your car is in, it's going to kill it. Yep, she filled her brand new gasoline car up with diesel, and that's bad news. Why? Because when it comes to cars, it's the same as faith. It's what's on the inside that counts. You see, so many times we can get duped, we can get misled, we can get tricked or tripped up, and we begin to think that the things of this world will give us life. But only Jesus can do that. Only Jesus can give us life. Only allowing Jesus to take control of our lives and placing our trust in Him, allowing Him to move in our hearts really leads to life. He says it Himself. In John 3:16 and 17, He says, "For this is how God loved the world. He gave His one and only Son so that everyone who believes in Him will not perish, but have eternal life." And God sent His Son into the world, not to condemn the world, but to save the world through Him. Jesus came to give us life, and it's only by trusting in Him that we find real hope and real life. He didn't come to condemn us. Jesus didn't step out of heaven into our world in order to condemn us, but to save us. He didn't come to fill us with shame, but to fill us with hope. Jesus isn't out to get us. He's out to get us home. In John 11:25 and 26, Jesus says this, "I'm the resurrection and the life. Anyone who believes in me will live even after dying. Everyone who lives in me and believes in me will never die." What Jesus offers us is something that the world can never give us, because new life, real life, is only found in a relationship with Him, allowing Him to take control of our lives from the inside out. It's what's on the inside that counts. So let's go back to where we started, back to what Matthew tells us about the resurrection, what we read a few minutes ago. He tells us that the angel says to the women at the tomb, come see for yourselves that Jesus is alive. That was the original invitation of Easter. Come and see for yourself that what's on the inside counts, that if the inside of the tomb is empty, that means our lives can be full. And it's the same invitation available to you today. Come see for yourself how Jesus can change your life. Come see for yourself how Jesus can give you hope. Come see for yourself that that's the invitation. Come see for yourself. And it's available for us all. Let's pray. Maybe you're joining us today here online and you've never taken the step to come experience Jesus for yourself. We want to give you the opportunity to experience a life-giving relationship with Jesus. So I'm going to lead you through a prayer. There's nothing magical about the words we use or the phrases we use. What matters is the commitment of your heart and your mind to the person of Jesus. So if you're ready to experience a personal relationship with Jesus today, to allow him to take control of your life and to take your empty life and give it fullness and hope and life, you can pray something like this. Dear Jesus, today I say yes to you. Today I ask you to forgive me of my sins, and I commit my life to you. Give me freedom from my past and take control of my life, Jesus. I place my trust in you. Help me live your way and not my own. Amen. Now, if you prayed that prayer for the very first time and you were serious about that commitment to Jesus, we would love to know about that. We'd love for you to let us know. You can do that in a couple ways. Number one, you can text your name just plus the word Jesus, your full name plus Jesus, to 254-485-2114. Or you can go to timberidgechurch.com/commit and fill out the commitment form there as well. Either way you let us know, we'll be able to follow up with you, send you some resources, answer any questions you may have, and celebrate with you the decision you made today. We hope you have a great Easter weekend, and we will see you next Sunday.